Good evening, everybody, and welcome to 31 Bedtime Stories for 31 Nights of March. And tonight we have a very special selection from Gianni Rodari's Telephone Tales, illustrated by Valerio Vedaldi. And this, as you can see, is a collection of tales that you could read each night on your own. And as a reminder, all of these books are available through Wellfleet Public Library. And we begin our tale this way. As you can see, once upon a time, there was a man named Signor Bianchi from Varese. He was an accountant who worked as a traveling salesman. And 6 days out of every 7, he crisscrossed all of Italy, east, west, south, north, and central, selling pharmaceuticals. Every Sunday he returned home, and Monday morning he set out again on his rounds. But before he left, his daughter always told him, "Remember, Papa, a story every night before bed." That little girl couldn't sleep without a bedtime story, and her mamma had already told her all the stories she knew, most of them 3 times already. And so, every evening, no matter where he was, at 9 o'clock on the dot, Signor Bianchi put in a phone call to Varese and told his little girl a story. This book, in fact, contains all of Signor Bianchi's stories. You may notice that they're all rather short. There's a reason for that. Signor Bianchi was an accountant, and he was paying for all those phone calls out of his own pocket, so he couldn't afford to make extended long-distance phone calls. Only occasionally, if he'd wrapped up some very good sales, could he afford a few extra long-distance clicks. I'm told that when Signor Bianchi called Varese, all the young ladies who worked the telephone switchboard simply stopped putting calls through, so they could listen to his stories. I bet they did. Some of them are really not half bad. And here is a sample. The Ice Cream Palace. Once upon a time, in Bologna, they built an ice cream palace, right on the main square, the Piazza Maggiore. The roof was made of whipped cream, the smoke rising from the chimney top was made of spun sugar, and the chimneys themselves were made of candied fruit. All the rest was ice cream. Ice cream doors, ice cream walls, ice cream furniture. Children came from near and far to have a lick of ice cream. One tiny child latched onto a table and licked the table legs one by one. One by one, until the table collapsed on top of him with all the dishes, and the dishes were made of chocolate ice cream, the most delicious kind. A policeman working in City Hall eventually noticed that a window was melting. The window panes were made of strawberry ice cream, and it was streaming down in pink rivulets. "Hurry!" cried the policeman. "Hurry! Scurry twice as fast!" And everyone rushed over to lick as fast as they could to keep even a single drop of that masterpiece from going to waste. "A chair!" pleaded a little old lady who couldn't fight her way through the mob. "A chair for a poor old woman! Who'll bring me a chair? An armchair with armrests, if possible!" A generous fireman hurried to get her a vanilla and pistachio ice cream armchair, and the poor little old lady contentedly started licking away at it, starting right from the armrests. That was a magnificent day for one and all, and by doctor's orders, no one had a tummy ache. Even now, when children ask for another ice cream, their parents sigh, "Okay, okay, but to keep you satisfied, we would need a whole palace made of ice cream, just like the one in Bologna." Here's another story. A distractible child goes for a walk. "Well, Mamma, I'm going out for a walk." "Go right ahead, Giovanni, but look both ways when you cross the street." "All right, Mamma. Bye-bye, Mamma." "You're always so distractible." "Yes, Mamma. Bye-bye, Mamma." And Giovanni goes cheerfully out the door, and for the first block or so, he pays close attention, stopping every so often to check he hasn't lost anything. Am I all here? Yes, I am! And he laughs happily to himself. He's so pleased with how careful he's being that he starts hopping along like a sparrow. Hop, hop, hop. Soon enough, though, he's completely captivated, staring at shop windows, cars, the clouds, and naturally trouble follows. A gentleman very politely scolds him. "Oh, young man, you're so distractible. You see, you've already lost a hand." "Oh, yes, sir, you're right. I'm so distractible." And he starts searching for his hand. He starts searching. But instead, he finds an empty tin can. Is the can really empty? Let's take a look. What could have been in it before it was empty? It can't possibly have been empty right from the very first day. Ay, and Giovanni forgets about looking for his hand. And then he forgets about the tin can, too, because he spotted a dog with a limp, and in his hurry to catch up with a limping dog, before it turns the corner, he loses a whole arm. But he doesn't even notice, and just keeps running. A nice woman calls after him, "Giovanni, Giovanni, your arm!" But of course he pays her no mind. "Oh, well," says the nice woman, "I'll take it to his mamma." And she goes to Giovanni's mamma's house. "Signora, I've brought your son's arm. Oh, he's so distractible. I just don't know what to say or do anymore." "Well, it's no mystery," says the neighbor. "It's just the way children are." A little while later, another nice woman comes over to visit. "Signora, I found a foot. It wouldn't belong to your boy, Giovanni, would it?" "Why, of course it is. I recognize it from that shoe with a hole in the sole. Ugh, what a distractible child God gave me. I just don't know what to say or do anymore." Well, it's no mystery. That's just the way children are. Then a little old lady comes by, and the baker's delivery boy, and a trolley conductor, oh my goodness, and even a retired school teacher. And they all bring some piece or other of Giovanni. A leg, an ear, a nose. "Has there ever been a boy as distractible as my own Giovanni?" said his mother. "Well, signora, that's just the way children are." And at last, Giovanni himself comes in, hopping on just one leg, with no ears or arms, but as cheerful as a sparrow, as he always is. And his mother shakes her head, puts him back together, and gives him a kiss. "Is anything missing, Mamma? Have I been a good boy?" "Yes, Giovanni, you've been a very good boy." And one more quick story. The country with an "un" in front. And remember, these are all the telephone tales. Giovannino Vagabond, the great traveler, traveled and traveled. One day he chanced upon a country with an "un" in the front. "What kind of country is this?" he asked one of its denizens, who was lazing in the shade of a tree. The citizen replied by pulling a pencil sharpener out of his pocket, which he showed to Giovannino in the palm of his hand. "Do you see this? It's a pencil sharpener." "Completely wrong. It's actually a pencil unsharpener. That is, a pencil sharpener with an "un" in front. We use these to make pencils longer when they're worn down to a stub. They're very useful in schools, of course." "Magnificent," said Giovannino. "What else do you have here?" "We have clothes on hangers." "You must mean something like a clothes hanger." "Well, clothes hangers aren't particularly useful if you don't have a coat to hang on them. With our unhangers, everything's different. You don't have to hang anything on them because there's already something hanging. If you need a coat, you just go and take it off. If someone needs a jacket, they don't even have to go buy one. They just go to the unhanger and unhang it. There are clothes unhangers for summer and clothes unhangers for winter, clothes unhangers for men and clothes unhangers for women. We save lots of money that way." "How wonderful! What else?" said the traveler Giovannino Vagabond. "Well, then we have the uncamera, which instead of taking pictures, does caricatures, so you can laugh. And of course we have the uncannon." "Oh, that sounds scary." "Not at all. The uncannon is just the opposite of a cannon, and it's good for unwaging war. How does it work? It's super simple. Even a child could use it. If there's a war, we blow the unbugle, we fire the uncannon, and the war is immediately unwaged. Ah, what a wonderful place. The country with an un in front. Good night, everybody. Happy March 10th.